Welcome back to the 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪 Walk and Talk series where we rebound and we chat. We use the 𝗙𝗢𝗪𝗟s as a jumping off point for our conversation, and today's 𝗙𝗢𝗟 is Grumpy Bear. So we're going to be talking about bad moods and how we overcome them and all that good stuff. So you can choose to do this with or without a resistance band or hand weights, whatever you're comfortable with. Are we ready to talk?
Let's do it.
Yes. Let's do it. We're gonna start with our health bounce right here. Okay, deep breath in. Bad moods. What do you ladies think? How do you handle bad mood days? Because hey, we all have them, right?
Right. Some days they win, and some days I combat them with exercise, including bounce. I feel better after bounce.
Okay, that's an awesome point. Combating the bad mood. I hadn't thought about that. So exercise, what else?
Coffee always helps. Treating myself, getting myself out of the bad, focusing on the good.
So flipping your mind.
Yes,
maybe,
my perspective. There's
bit.
always something to be thankful for.
Grateful for.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have to admit, I wouldn't say I have a lot of bad mood days, but I do, like anyone, probably have one or two a month. And I would say for me, it's often more a sad mood than a bad mood.
Yeah.
I think that we are bombarded with information these days through technology, through social media, and it can be really hard to stay positive sometimes.
It can.
With like the state of the world and everything that's going on. And so I do slip into that occasionally, like, what's the point of anything? What's, kind of this, how, when there's war going on and all of these terrible things happening in the world, and it gets just overwhelming. So if I do sink into a mood like that, I think the first thing is just recognizing it, noticing it, and then like you said, combating it a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna go to our next move. So you're gonna side one leg here, prance up with a punch and back. Up and back, perfect. The other thing I think, and this came with age for sure, and maturity, is not making others responsible for my bad mood. Like taking ownership of it and not blaming people for when I'm in that kind of mood, or using someone as a punching bag, taking it out on someone.
I've noticed if I vocalize, hey, I'm really in a bad mood, I'm more apt to find something to make it a better mood.
Yeah.
So if I just sulk in my bad mood, then I don't ever combat it or get over it for the day. But if I admit, okay, you're kind of in a bad mood today, what can we do? There's that thing called glimmer. I don't know if you ever heard that word. Instead of looking at like the bad, it's like find a glimmer in the day. So I like to go out on my porch, and I always say, I'm always cold. So in the sun, I like to bake like a lizard. So I'll just go out and stand or lay on the concrete or on the grass for just like 5 minutes.
Hey, that's
and
really
bake in the
grounding.
sun. Yeah, I do.
Yes.
I do like grounding. That's one of my things I really do like. Being outside, bright sun first thing in the morning.
And in this world, we're probably not doing it enough.
Yeah.
They say that getting sun like first thing in the morning can be huge for just setting the tone for your whole day. So I love that. And I had never heard of glimmer before. Kind of makes me think, since we're like 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗪s is our theme, like the 𝗙𝗢𝗟.
Yeah.
Glimmer bear. Okay, this is good stuff. We're giving people good ideas here. Okay, we're gonna switch to the other side in 4, 3, 2, switch. Lead leg. Ooh, this is tough.
Okay.
You want to switch your lead leg. So it's probably, is it more awkward on this side?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I feel I'm awkward on both sides with this, but
And I'm definitely huffing and puffing here.
I know, me too.
Okay, so we kind of touched on like our own bad moods, right?
yes.
What about when people in your sphere are in bad moods?
I think like you talked about when it comes with age, I used to take it really personally
Yes.
about people's bad moods, and now I'm like, I've learned that, especially when I've been around you guys for balance, everybody's so positive. I'm like, if I'm a positive person, maybe I can help change their mood. Don't take it personally. There's just something going on with them. But that's been only in the last couple years. I've spent my whole life taking people's bad moods very personally.
Or like, what did I do?
Yeah,
Yes.
I've
Or
made
what
mad
did
at
I
me.
What can I fix? How can
Yeah.
I fix it
Yeah.
for you?
Yes,
Ooh.
trying to fix it is a
Yeah.
hard, like, some people,
I'm a fixer.
yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
fixer too.
Eek.
Yeah.
Admissions are happening here, friends.
Thanks, Jerry.
I am such a mood, I don't know what you call it, like a reflector maybe. So if I'm around somebody in a bad mood, I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you're happy, I'm happy, you know. And I
You
really,
match their energy.
I do.
That-
I'm
yeah.
an energy matcher, I guess.
Which, you know what? Sometimes that's appropriate.
Yes, it is.
I've done that with my kids before.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm just matching what you're bringing to
Yeah.
the table. Which then, you know, because they're not to that, like we said, it takes some maturity.
Yeah.
Takes some time to kind of have that realization that your mood can impact
Yeah.
the people around you. Okay, we've got 4, 3, 2. Come back to center here. You're gonna lean into this leg here, and we're just gonna tap and press. Now, the more you bend this standing knee, the harder it's gonna be. Whew, I don't know if I can talk.
That was a good one.
Yeah. So, yeah, luckily, I feel like as I've gotten older and just maybe a little bit wiser, I've taken bad moods. I've handled them better.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's say that. I'm not snippy with others, and I don't expect other people to fix my mood.
Yeah.
Like, you alone
Yeah.
are responsible for your happiness, and if sometimes that can mean hard decisions, like choosing a different friend group,
Yeah.
or setting boundaries with someone,
Oh, boundaries.
which is tough. Boundaries is a hard one. And I grew up in a house where I had one parent that was in a bad mood quite often. And so not carrying that into adulthood, and like we talked about, people pleasing and fixing, wow, especially with kids,
Yes.
teenagers.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
You want to fix. And so it's almost harder to just step back
Yeah.
and let them learn. Okay, so we talked about like people in our family, but what about jobs? What about like when you had a job where maybe it was conflicting personalities or bad moods happening around you? I'm guessing we've all probably had that experience.
Yeah.
Whew. Without getting totally
Yeah.
detailed.
Personal. Calling everybody out.
Well, a lot of people in my community know that I was a teacher before I started doing this, and I took some time off between teaching and figuring out what I wanted to do. Okay, we're gonna switch sides here. But, you know, and taking personal responsibility for the situation, I wasn't happy in teaching. And I think there was a time where maybe I blamed some of my coworkers perhaps, or just complained about the situation, but ultimately kind of took charge of it and figured out, like, this is not for me. I need to have, I need to figure out how to remedy this situation. And I quit the job, and a lot of people around me were shocked, but it was the best decision for me. It turned out really good, ultimately.
Here we are.
You know, so here's something interesting, a personal opinion maybe. Since COVID, I feel like most people have been more about what makes me happy, what makes me feel free, and like I'm living life instead of just I'm going to my 9 to 5 and that's how life works. Kind of like,
Yeah.
though I don't want to say old school mentality, but that's, you know, we hear a lot of that, like, you're supposed to go to work, and yes, you're supposed to go to work, but you see the younger generation is like, I'm doing what I love, and I'm making it into a career. Kind of like this, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
I think
opened
they're
up a
more-
whole different door
We're willing to go out and seek that.
Yes.
Didn't
There's
there,
so much courage.
wasn't there like a whole lot of small businesses started because of the pandemic?
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And I'm glad that people were able to do that. I've also seen the perspective, I'm in this women's personal finance group, and they talk about how you don't have to love your job.
Yeah.
If it's like helping you achieve the lifestyle that you want.
Yes.
3, 2, servers, down bounce, pull it in. If it's helping you achieve the life that you want, you know, you're able to take that yearly vacation, it's great, a good schedule. Like, do you have to love it?
No.
I don't know.
I think there's a fine line.
There is.
You know, you don't want to hate
Toxic
it. Yeah.
Not loving, you know, like.
You're right. There's a difference between toxic environment
Yeah.
and I just don't really love the work I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
True. Ooh, that makes me think about the situations I've been in and whether they were toxic or I just didn't.
You sometimes can't see that until you're out of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
And
why
my
I was
little
in a
bit
bad
of
mood
both,
all
too.
the time.
I think sometimes when you get down on yourself, you're like, maybe this is midlife crisis because we're
Yeah.
all a little older, but what am I doing with my life? Am I even making a difference?
Yeah.
You know, I always think about this, I'm like, it's so kind of morbid, but if I die today, they're going to fill my spot tomorrow. And I think for me, in my family, and my husband, he works hard and he doesn't love his job, but he provides our lifestyle. But I'm able to stay home with my kiddos and help provide at home and do all those great things. So I think if you're in a relationship, there's a good give and take there too.
Yeah.
About what you can do. But
When I did step away from teaching, we had to really budget.
yes,
I mean, it was
yeah.
tough, and we were so paycheck to paycheck, which so many Americans are. It's like 70%.
Yeah.
But it was like, do I have enough for groceries this month?
Yeah.
It was a really hard decision. We shared a car for over 2 years. I would walk the kids to school. It was like a mile there and back. And we made some huge sacrifices so that I could be in a happier place ultimately. And I'm super grateful to Danny for bearing the responsibility of supporting us all. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we've got a heel dig with a bicep curl. We are down to less than 4 minutes.
Ooh, that went fast.
I
It
know.
did go fast.
I think everyone was a little nervous about these videos. Like, I don't know what to
Oh.
say, but it's really just having a conversation. I would say too, just in general, like recapping, I think I had more bad moods when I was younger.
I would agree. Like, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, I think I was in, or maybe I just didn't realize exactly what was, you know, happening, and it was almost normal.
Your triggers.
Yeah.
Like, what are your bad mood triggers?
Yeah.
Well, I already said social media can be
Yes.
kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
a bad mood trigger. What else?
Other people's moods.
I can still get triggered by my husband and or kids when they're in bad moods. Like,
We're
have a
human.
good day.
Yeah, we're human.
Mine is like if things don't go as planned. Like if
Oh,
I
yeah,
have a
yeah.
set plan for the day and something goes wrong, I'm like, well, now what? You know? And I've learned to just take it step by step. It all works out just fine. But that really
Okay, here's an interesting perspective. What about women versus men brains?
Oh, gosh.
Like in that situation that Jerry was just talking about, and Danny's like, what? Everything's fine. And you're like, I'm freaking out.
Yeah. Reminds you of the TikTok. You have 30 minutes. 30 minutes? Like, yeah, 30 minutes.
Just, and it's like, sometimes I feel like I don't want to stereotype, and I'm sure there's differences in our husbands, but sometimes I feel like men are like, just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
why are you
It's fine.
Something I've noticed that my kids and husband have started to point out to me is I have whole conversations to myself in my brain. So I have my whole day planned out, how everybody should be acting.
Down bounce, right?
And when they don't, I get mad. And they're like, what is wrong? I'm like, I told you this.
You
no,
didn't
did
do-
not.
You didn't do what I
I
created.
thought you were going to do. So now we have an issue here.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's tough with teenagers. you never know how to balance it, but when they're having, because we know teenagers have bad moods, when they're having bad moods, I just try to step back and remember, like, they're human beings and they're entitled to have a bad mood. They're not entitled to treat other people like garbage,
Right.
but they're entitled to go in their room and sulk for a few hours or whatever it might be. Like, it's how you, as long as you're not treating others poorly and taking your mood out on them,
Yep.
Yes.
I feel like have your bad mood.
We have that phrase,
Do it.
like, what they say, every emotion is welcome, not every behavior is.
Oh, I
So
like that.
you can be mad at me, but you're not going to speak to me that way, or you're
Yeah.
not going to act like that towards me, or hit your sister, you know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because we're all in a stage where we still have, 2 of my kids are out of the house now, but I still have 1 at home. You 2 have kids at home.
Yeah.
Like, how it changes as we get older and the kids are off on their own, if we ever became grandparents, you know, it'll be interesting to see how that changes.
Yeah.
I think there will be, I don't know, I look forward in a way to empty nest and you know, maybe traveling a little more and what that might bring, and it's that season of life.
Yes.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Life is very seasonal, that's for sure.
True.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. We did it. Hope you enjoyed this grumpy bear walk and talk.
No longer grumpy.
Hope you're in a
We're
better
happy
mood.
now.
Yes. All right. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.